The lights go up, a stage emerges from the darkness, a perfectly arranged set, a cast in place, an audience waiting, and then, from the shadows, you step forward. The script is in your hands, the cues are set. You take a breath, ready to play your part. But wait, what are you doing here? And more importantly, who wrote this script? Shakespeare once said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." At first glance, it sounds poetic, but look closer. Merely players, like puppets on a stage acting out roles we never chose? But here's what Shakespeare doesn't say. The play isn't set in stone, the script isn't final. And above all, you are not just an actor, you can be the playwright. So today, let's talk about this. What role have you been playing? Who gave you your lines? And most importantly, what would happen if you rewrote the script? Stay with me, because by the time we reach the final act, you might see your life differently. Think about it. From the moment we're born, we're cast into roles before we even know who we are. The obedient child, the ambitious student, the responsible worker, the perfect partner, the selfless parent. No auditions, no script rewrites, just expectations. At first, it doesn't seem like a problem. We learn our lines, we hit our marks, we follow the story. Because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Until one day something shifts. Maybe it's in the middle of a sleepless night. Maybe it's in the silence after an argument. Maybe it's in the reflection of a stranger staring back at you in the mirror. And you wonder, is this really me? And suddenly, the walls of the set seem smaller than before. The spotlight feels hotter. The script in your hands, it feels foreign, like it was never really yours. Because maybe it wasn't. But if this script wasn't written by you, then who wrote it? And more importantly, who's directing this play? Most people believe they are in control of their lives. But let's get real. Are you truly making choices, or are you just following a script that was handed to you? Did you choose your career, or did you follow the path that made sense, that pleased your parents, that paid the bills? Did you choose your beliefs, or were they passed down to you like an old hand-me-down costume from a previous generation? Did you choose your life, or did you just wake up one day and realize you were living someone else's? In this grand play of existence, there are two kinds of people. The actors, who follow the script, never questioning the lines, and the directors, who see beyond the stage, who rewrite the narrative, who shape their own story. Most people, they live their entire lives as actors in a play they never wrote. And why? Because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because stepping into the director's chair is terrifying. Because the moment you realize you can change the script, you also realize you can no longer blame it. So let me ask you, are you still acting? Or are you ready to take control of the story? Of course, every great actor needs a mask, and we all wear them. Some we put on to protect ourselves, others we wear for so long, we forget they were ever masks at all. The mask of success, so no one sees our struggles. The mask of happiness, so no one asks what's really wrong. The mask of confidence, so no one suspects we're terrified inside. We get so good at performing, at pretending, at playing the role we were assigned, that we forget we could just stop. But here's the thing about masks. The longer you wear one, the harder it is to remember who you were before you put it on. So let me ask you, who are you when no one's watching? If you strip away the job title, the expectations, the applause, who's left? If you don't know the answer, good, that's the start of something real, because the moment you see the mask, you can finally decide whether to keep wearing it. But before you can step into your true self, you need to understand, why do we stay trapped in the roles we no longer want? If we know we're playing a role that doesn't fulfill us, why do we stay? Psychologists call it script theory. From childhood, we absorb invisible rules, beliefs that shape our decisions without us even realizing it. I must always please others to be loved. Success means never showing weakness. Happiness is something I'll find later. These scripts become our reality. They keep us in patterns. They keep us trapped in roles we didn't choose, but feel unable to escape. And like any great story, they have an antagonist. Fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of uncertainty. Fear that if we change, we'll lose everything we've built. But let me ask you this. What's scarier? Changing the script? Or reaching the final act and realizing you never truly lived? If you're still here, something inside you is shifting. Not a loud, dramatic change, not an explosion, just a quiet realization settling in like ink drying on a page. Wait, I can rewrite this. And the answer is yes. Not by erasing the past, not by tearing up the pages that built you, but by choosing what comes next. Because the past, it's done its job. It shaped you, taught you, gave you depth. You don't need to fight it, nor be bound by it. Instead, take what serves you. Keep the lessons, the strength, the resilience, and let go of the rest. Not all at once, not in a single sweeping act, but piece by piece, mask by mask. Because not all masks are cages. Some protect, some empower, some help you navigate a world that isn't always kind. But the ones that suffocate you, the ones that make you forget who you are beneath them, those, you can start loosening, one thread at a time. And as you do, something incredible happens. Not a reinvention, not a grand transformation, just a quiet, steady return to the you that's been waiting underneath it all. Where do you start? First, question the script. Not with anger, not with blame, simply with curiosity. Who told you what was possible? Who decided what your story should be? And do their words still belong to you? Because here's the truth. We are born into a world that hands us definitions, expectations, limitations. We are told what we are, what we can be, how far we can go. But Shakespeare once wrote, "We know what we are, but know not what we may be." And that changes everything. Because if you don't yet know what you may be, then the story is still unwritten. And what if you feel like too much of your story has already been told? What if you feel like the pages behind you are longer than the ones ahead? Does it still matter? Yes, more than ever. Because here's the thing about stories. They are not measured by their length, but by their depth, by their meaning, by the quiet moments where a simple conversation changes someone's life, by the wisdom passed down, even in a single sentence, by the late-night laughter, the second chances, the unexpected joys. Your story is never just yours. It ripples outward in the people you've touched, in the lessons you've taught, in the love you've given, and every day, in the smallest ways, you are still writing it. You are still shaping it. Because the final act is not about endings. It's about making every scene that remains truly yours. Maybe it's a new adventure. Maybe it's a long-forgotten dream, waiting to be picked up again. Maybe it's simply the decision to savor what is here, now, with presence, with gratitude, with an open heart. Whatever it is, it matters. Because a story is never defined by how it starts, or how many pages are left. It is defined by how it feels to the one who is living it. So what happens now? Second, edit without apology. No great story is written without revisions. No great life is lived without change. Some things no longer fit, that's okay. Some patterns feel like echoes instead of choices. That's okay too. You are allowed to rewrite. Third, step beyond the script. The best moments in life, the real, breathtaking ones, they happen when we stop acting and start living. So loosen your grip. Forget the fear of missing a cue. Some of the greatest performances happen when the actor forgets the line and just becomes. And finally, Step onto the stage as its creator, not just its performer. This is where your power lies, not in tearing down the past, not in regretting the first few acts, but in choosing right now what happens next. Because Shakespeare didn't just observe life, he gave it form. His words stretched beyond his time, beyond his world, because they spoke to something eternal, to the people brave enough to see beyond the roles they were given. And now, it's your turn to question, to rewrite, to take the pen and say, from this page forward, I decide. One day the curtain will fall, the lights will dim, the applause, if there's any, will fade, and all that will remain is the story you told. So, let's be honest. What kind of story do you want it to be? A predictable, well-behaved script written by someone else? Neatly structured? No risks? Just a polite round of golf claps at the end? Or a story that's messy, bold, ridiculous at times? A story where you tore up the script, rewrote the ending, and improvised your way into something extraordinary? Because Shakespeare was right. All the world's a stage, and yes, we are all players. But the biggest plot twist he never mentioned? Some of us, the ones crazy enough to go off script, become the playwrights of our own destiny. And if you're still here, it means something inside you already knows this. So let's keep rewriting. Let's keep questioning. Let's keep making this life ours. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next act.